welcome back, or welcome for the first time to Certified Black Weirdo, which is a little channel where we talk about the art of one weird black artist a week, and just kind of celebrate it. And I'll tell you what I liked about it, what I thought was weird about it in the best way, what it reminded me of. And then I have like lots of notes on Substack too. You can check those out. So this week we're talking about, oh gosh, I almost forgot. Sorry to bother you. So yeah, come hang out and let me know what you think if you've seen it. If you haven't seen it yet, but you want to, let me know in the comments. Okay, thanks. See you soon. Okay, and we're back. Hello. Thank you for hanging out. I really appreciate, you guys watching and people commenting online and us having a conversation. That's super important to me. I don't want you guys to just feel like I'm just like yapping and you're watching and then it's over. I would love to hear what you think about these movies or these TV shows, albums, etc. And sorry, I just ate a granola bar. And yeah, what you think and what it reminds you of and what other recs you have. I definitely want to kind of be running off recs. So yeah, initially I was going to do Atlantics, which is this really dope movie. It sort of like has ghosts in it. It's kind of like Beloved, like by Toni Morrison. I'll probably do it later, but somebody recommended that I do Sorry to Bother You. And I was like, actually, that's a great idea. And then, now I did. And I saw it when it came out in movie theaters, but it's been so weird and fun and cool to like rewatch it now 7 years later. How has it been? No, 8 years later now. Happy 2026. So we're going to talk about that today, and kind of the overview of what we're going to be doing is we'll be talking about what is this about. Or these are the questions that I wrote down. What's it about? What it reminded me of? What's weird about it? What I liked about it? And then some favorite quotes. So that's kind of the overview for today. So we will start with what is it about, which is, if you've seen it, very tricky to answer. It's about, that's what I said, Cassius Green, aka Cash, needs a job, gets really good at it, and has to decide if he wants to continue to excel there at the expense of his values and his community, is how I would like recap it in a sentence. And then things get really weird, which we will definitely talk about, because I know that like last 30 minutes is very divisive for people. If you've seen it. If not, I won't give you a spoiler, but you should go watch it and then report back on what you thought at the end. Okay, so that's kind of what it's about. We're going to kind of move through these sections. I'm going to try to keep it under 25 minutes. That's what I can promise. 20 minutes is kind of short. 30 minutes is like a little long. But I could talk forever, so I'm going to try to keep an eye on the time. I hope you've had a good or like a reasonably restful, ideally, holiday season. If you're watching this, when it comes out, it's now January 2nd. Time is flying already. It's already the second day. Oh gosh, my notebook almost flipped over in my fury. Oh, not fury, in my flurry of emotions about 2026, which is wild. Anyway, okay. So I'm going to tell you what it reminded me of, Sorry to Bother You, which is like, this kind of bizarre, satirical, absurd, commentary on capitalism and sort of like how to respond to it and how to fight back and the choices you can make and like how do you make ones that kind of keep you grounded as opposed to just like trying to get paid, which is very real. Something that I really liked about the tangents are starting. Something that I really liked about this movie is it's sort of like about what happens when you decide to sell out, which is very interesting because Lakeith Stanfield also played a character in Judas and the Black Messiah who sort of sold out. So he's played that a lot, which is interesting. I wonder like as actors, I wonder if it's like you start to feel like conflated with the characters that you play, or if you are like, yeah, that character did that thing, but I'm different. I write fiction too. And I think that for me, I see my characters as like very different from me. So I wonder if when you're acting, if you feel that way, or if you feel like you like are the character is like becoming you. Like kind of like if you've seen the movie The Mask, where he like puts on the mask, Jim Carrey puts on the mask, and then it's like his face, and he can't get it off, and he's like a different person when he's wearing it, and then he can take it off. Eventually, I think he can take it off, or if he's just the mask the whole movie, I can't remember. Anyway, I wonder how it feels to play these characters who are sort of like doing these like problematic things. Anyway, so the movie, it reminded me of I'm a Virgo, which is also by Boots Riley, a similar commentary about capitalism. It reminded me of Richard Wright's novel Native Son, which I think came out in the 40s, if you've seen it, please let me know. Or not seen it, if you've read it. It's so wild. And then there's at least two movie adaptations. There's one that was in the 50s where Richard Wright plays Bigger, the main character, but Bigger's like a teenager or like in his early 20s, and Richard Wright was like in his 50s, but he like played him, and it was like a really weird, kind of bad movie. Just because there was like a lot of like really weird, surreal things that like didn't fully like land in that version. But then there's a version by the playwright, I think her name's Suzan-Lori Parks, super dope experimental Black playwright. I'll like link all the things that I reference. I like listen back and I make a list of them, and if you click the Substack link, it'll take you so you can kind of see them. But she has a really good play called Topdog, Underdog. Yeah. And then also she adapted Native Son to like a contemporary time where Bigger, the main character, who basically like works for these like rich white people, and then things like hit the fan really fast, and then he's like accident. I don't want to spoil it, but like things get really intense, and then he's like scrambling to figure it out. And in the book and in the first version, it gets like really like, I don't know, dark, but I mean the whole thing's dark either way. But like I think the new movie, like Bigger is sort of like a punk, like black punk guy. Super, super good. Like the fashion, the styling, everything is so good in that movie. Maybe one day we'll talk about that. But yeah, that movie was really good and different from the book. But the book talks about communism and capitalism and the unions and all of that. But it's not so racially aware. It's just kind of like, is it racially aware? I don't know. It's sort of like it skirts, just made that up. Skirts the question of like race when it comes to class conversations. And I think that Sorry to Bother You did such a good job of kind of like linking those two together. So it's like about class struggle, but it's also like a black project or like a black protest or a black struggle against that. And there's like interracial like alliances and friendships between like POC and black groups, which is cool. So it's like it's mainly black, but then they also kind of bring in people of color. Steven Yeun, who was in Beef on Netflix, great show. He was in it, and he played like the union leader. So it was sort of like thinking about race while I was thinking about class in a way that I thought was interesting. It also reminded me of Intergalactic for how the main character and his girlfriend are like this like iconic like alternative like creative artistic black couple, which I love, and we'll talk more about in the what I liked about this section. Yeah, I thought that was really special. And then it reminded me of They Clone Tyrone, just for how the world gets more and more bizarre as the time goes on, and just like, I don't know, like it's just like thinking of the ending of Sorry to Bother You, which if you've seen it, you know. Yeah, it just kind of, it's like, it just gets weirder and weirder and weirder in a way that is like, kind of like speaking to how when you face these issues and you start to like really dig into them, it just, there's like more and more and more in the thing, you know, and you just have to like, and what if this, and what if this, and what if this, like your imagination is so expanded because these problems like take so much to endure, and it kind of causes you to kind of get catapulted into other realities. Like if you think about Get Out, that's another good example. Like I think like speculative fiction kind of gives us room to like have language and explore these things from like a slant, which sometimes is easier than if we're just trying to like face them head on. So I thought that was really interesting. Okay, so those are some things that reminded me of. I'm doing this in a different order this time, so I don't know if it's going to work or if I can cut. I technically could cut it and move it around. Though I kind of like to make these like a one-shot thing because I think that feels like a little bit more conversational. Anyway, that was what it reminded me of. And now, okay, we could do either what's weird about it or what I liked about it. Let's just do weird. We'll just go through and see how it goes. Okay, what was weird about it? So time blends moments together, which is so cool. So like there, I'm thinking specifically of, there's like a scene where he's like he's Stanfield's character Cash just like in the call center, and then he said like, why are you eating so many, or why are you stuffing all those fries in your mouth? And you think he's talking to his coworker, but then like the next second they're like at a restaurant and he's with his friend who's eating fries. And like these moments where time like kind of collapses, or when he's on the phone at the call center, he's like, the scene is like him as if he is there with the people he was calling while they're doing like all these like random embarrassing things. Sorry, I don't know why I still have this. This feels weirdly comforting. I miss old phones. Bring back old phones. So I think like the way that time collapses is really interesting. And I think it's kind of like speaks to the Black experience as being kind of surreal, like, and just like trying to get through the world. But like, there are all these moments here and just kind of like generally where it feels like what happened right now has happened before and has happened before and has happened before. And that's created sort of like this like portal where it feels sort of like being Black is like a timeless experience, but not necessarily always in a good way. But here I feel like it's playing with time in a way that feels creative and good and like more generative than like trauma being repeated over and over again. Or if you think about like the movie Kindred or the book Kindred by Octavia Butler, how she like goes back into time. Like, I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but like she, and if you have, let me know in the comments, but she basically is like living, I think in the 70s, and she's like dating a white guy. And then somehow she like gets catapulted back to slavery, like random. And she's like moving back and forth between the worlds. And then her, well, should I tell you this? Her partner also gets catapulted back. So it kind of makes everything really complicated. The TV show adaptation that just came out is like really intense graphically, or not graphically, graphically intense. Oh gosh, I'm so tired. Sorry. This doesn't make any sense. I couldn't watch. Oh wait, was it that? I don't know if I saw. I think I'm thinking about Underground Railroad. They adapted this book called Underground Railroad. It was so graphic. I was like, I can't. I know what the violence is. I don't need to see it. You know, I need to try to watch Kindred again. But basically, they just adapted it like a year or two ago. But the book is from I think the 80s. And that's another kind of example of like time jumping and time collapsing. Or like Beloved by Toni Morrison is another one where like the past comes back to the present, but like like time is collapsing. I feel like that's like sort of a really prevalent theme in Black culture sometimes, especially like stuff from like before now. Now it feels like everything's so hyper present because of the internet. But I think before social media, it feels like time was like a little bit more like layered than maybe it feels now, where everything feels so hyper present. So yeah, I thought that was really weird and interesting. And then of course, like the white voice, like including that, I thought was really weird and cool. And I like how they said like kind of like the moment that they took to kind of think about what that white voice is. And they were like, it's not talking proper. It's not even talking like a white person. It's talking as if you'd like, Danny Glover's character said that this is the white voice is how they wish they sounded, as if they didn't have a care in the world. And I thought that was really like both a striking definition and like obviously a striking thing to include is to have him talk in this like white voice so that he sounds like somebody that the people he's calling to sell stuff to can trust, and then they end up buying from him. It's very interesting. And the idea of like talking as if you don't have a care in the world is really interesting too. When I grew up, everybody made fun of the way I talk, but my whole family talks like this. And it's not really like a choice for me, you know what I mean? It would be a choice to try to hide it, but I'm like, I'm Black. I'm not trying to like prove that I'm Black by doing stuff that's not like, I don't know. I don't want to, I think that kind of in general as an artist, I don't want to be doing anything just to prove a point. I want to be doing stuff because it feels genuine, you know, and because it feels aligned with who I am, you know, and the things about me that make me like quirky and weird as like a Black person. It's like I still very much care and love, want to be around Black people, right? But I want to be accepted for kind of like, I don't know, how I came into the world, I guess. You know, so I try not, I think as an artist and someone who wants to have like an original mind, I try my best to not do things just to fit in or do things just to stand out. Or just like try to like journal and reflect and be like, who am I? What do I vibe with? There's so much that I want to emulate from Black culture, including AAB, honestly. But like, I also want to feel like how I wake up in the morning and how I grow and learn and move forward into the world is like true. You know what I mean? And not so that people accept me, but more so that I feel aligned with, I don't know, who I am, I guess. Anyway, that's a very weird random tangent to say that I was not really, I wasn't really bullied, but people have commented on my voice. People have also like seen me and then hear me and then they're like, I don't trust you. But this is just a public service announcement. I am not talking like this on purpose or to prove anything. It's just my whole family talks like this. Maybe my grandma was proper. Maybe it just kind of like trickled down. I don't know, but I'm not really proper now. Okay. Oh my gosh, we're running out of time with this weird tangent. Anyway, the white voice I thought was like a really interesting thing that they included, and the definition around it being like to be sort of like carefree, I thought was really interesting too. And then I thought that like the bizarreness of the media being included was super interesting. The commercials for Power Caller, the I Got the Shit Kicked Out of Me show. And Danny Glover's character said, "What kind of world is it when this is the most popular show in America?" Which just feels like so true for today too. And then like the twists in scenes, I thought like, that's like a kind of like a classic scene writing or screenwriting or scene just in general, whether it's fiction or screenwriting or whatever, tactic is to like have a scene go one way and then twist it at the end. And I thought the twists in this movie were so good. Like when at the beginning, when he thinks he's not going to get the job, but then he like gets it and you're like, oh, or he's like lecturing his landlord, "You landlord just trying to take everything for your families." But then it turns out the landlord's his uncle. And it's also Terry Crews from Everybody Hates Chris, which is very cute. And then also the horse people, was very weird. That wasn't, I mean, it was kind of like a twist overall, but it's also just like a very weird thing that a lot of people don't like because it feels random after like the movie kind of being mostly realist-ish, like satirical but real world, and then there's this sort of like weird fantastical element. I kind of felt like it was taking like this idea of like, what would you do for money, right? What would you do for money? Would you sell out your community, right? Would you sell something that's like really messed up? Okay, would you transform into something like a different creature for enough money? And just kind of like raising the stakes to this like absurd, like I don't know, now fantastical level. I thought was like really weird and kind of genius to be like, where else can this go? Where else can this go? So those are like lots of things that were weird about it. Okay, we're making like reasonable time. We got one more section left, and then quotes. Thank you for listening and for hanging out. Okay, so what I liked about it, I loved the like Black love that was like alternative and weird and creative and radical. I thought that was like so awesome to see. It's like I think when you see, this isn't totally true, but like I think that like when you think about the idea of like Black couples, Black love, Black representation, sometimes the idea is like, okay, it's very traditional. Like the guy is the leader and the woman is like the homemaker, and they're both Christian, and like they have kids, and they're like this family that's like very like not weird, like very normal, in that and within mainstream Black culture, right? And I think that to see these examples of people who are like just like scraping by, but they're artists and they're radical and they're philosophical, wondering what they kept saying, what are we going to do before the sun explodes? Like these sort of like big philosophical questions. And they're just like, punk, and they're here and they're doing it, and they live in his uncle's garage, but like they're they're making art and they're happy, they're making it work. And I think that like that representation, or if you think about like Rihanna and A$AP Rocky is another example, like these people who Rihanna. Anyway, like these people who are just like artists together, Black and artists together, like I think is really, really satisfying. And I think sometimes as like weird Black creative people, it can feel like you have to like go find other weirdos that are also outsiders that are like from different cultures to like make your friend group in your life. But it's like to find another Black weirdo, which is what this channel was like kind of for, so people can find each other and be like, oh, I'm weird too. Like, let's say, like if you think about like Afropunk or like these spaces that are like for being alternative to whatever's the mainstream. And if the mainstream is like more traditional, more Christian, more proper, or not necessarily proper, but like more straight-laced, more like non-weird, just fitting in, trying to fit in. Like I like that this was so weird, and that they were so like, and I love Tessa Thompson's character in general because she was such a good partner. You know what I mean? And she wasn't just a partner; she was a character who was like making stuff happen on her own, which kind of reminded me of They Clone Tyrone, and the like woman main character there who's like, she in that one she's not even a love interest, which is great. In this one she's love interest, but she's cool. And like there's the scene where like they're all talking to each other, like all the guys talking to each other, and then she comes up and they're just quiet. Not so much from like a fully sexualized place, but like just because she's like a presence. And I think that that's so awesome. So I really liked that. That was like one of my favorite things about the movie. And then, yeah, I liked also her earrings, like how they kept complimenting her earrings. I thought that was really interesting. One of them said, tell Homeland Security that we are the bomb. Or like there's just like all these, or one said like kill, it just said kill, 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 murder, murder, murder. And it's just like cool. I don't know. Awesome. Just awesome. And then I also liked intergenerational friendships, like Danny Glover's character, both showing Cash the ropes, but also like just hanging out with him at the bar, and just kind of like, I think that's really important to kind of think about how can we build relationships and friendships across age brackets or whatever, and learn from each other in that way, as well as interracial friendships here with Squeeze, kind of thinking about like other people of color and how they interact with like Black culture and Black people and Black community, and like kind of opening that up while also kind of like bolstering and like cultivating and protecting like Black community in and of itself. I thought that was, both of those was really well done. And then there's like some iconic scenes like the positivity fight where they're like, you have a good day. No, you have a good day. I hope your whole week is good. And they're like fighting, but they're like, instead of it being negative, it's like flipped so that it's positive, which is like really weird and interesting. Yeah. And then, and then also like the rap scene where he has to rap in front of all those white people because that's what they expect of him, which I thought was really, oh gosh, I'm already at 20 minutes. Okay. I'm almost done. But I thought that was really interesting because it's also like those expectations and like how that sort of, like, if we think about like the Black world being like the way that Black people imagine themselves and each other in that space and all of the variations of that space. And then we think of like white supremacy as like white expectations and perceptions of Blackness, not necessarily like individually white people, but like the white like systems, how they see Blackness and like how they sort of like deprioritize, if not just like actively endanger Black people and Black culture. And those perceptions of like Black people are this, Black people are entertainers, Black people are helpers, Black people are here to serve, Black people, or they're threatening. Like this idea of like white paranoia, which is like seeing Black people as either a helper or a threat, like it's either there to help you or there to harm you. And instead of just like as a neutral person living in the world that's not always in relationship to you, And I think that like that scene, that rap scene where I probably can't rap what he said because I'll probably get censored on one of the Instagram or one of the, what is it, social medias. But you could look it up. It's hilarious and amazing and interesting because it's like hip hop is a huge part of Black culture, but also it's like to project that on from the outside is non-specific. You know what I mean? It's like even to like even somebody who does hip hop, it's like to not see them specifically is problematic, racist. You know what I mean? To not see the kind of hip hop they're doing or the kind of thing or the details or the nuances of that, like that's problematic, and it's not clear, And it's like I think that it was so well illustrated there. This idea that like, this idea that you are not just one thing, but that's what they see. And the higher up, the more powerful you get, and the more powerful people you're around, the more and more they're projecting those things on you. Which is interesting. So I thought that scene where he's rapping is iconic. And then let's see. Oh, and then just like the idea of selling out, I thought was really well done. Just like how it's complicated because he's providing for his family by selling out. But also it's like, that's not even a good, it's like, regardless of why you need the money, like the stuff that you do to sell it, like that causes you to sell out, to betray the values of yourself and your community, like it alienates you. Like even if you're protected materially, like it alienates you interpersonally and emotionally, even from yourself. And so I think like that was illustrated really well. Okay, thanks for hanging. Okay, last thing is a quote I really liked. So Detroit, who's Tessa Thompson's character, calls Cash, Lakeith Stanfield's character. She says his job is morally emaciated, which I thought was like so good. And then she says later, I love you too, but I can't hang with what I see in you now. And I think that was just like I don't know. I loved their relationship because it felt like both like challenged, like she was challenging him, but it was in love. Like it was like, and she was so secure in herself that it's like, I don't need you. Like I want to be with you and I like you, who you are. But if you're becoming somebody who is like, doesn't stand for anything, and I'm someone who is radical, like how do we like, what's it called? Negotiate that? Reconcile that? Like how do you how do you work it out? And then it's so interesting because it's like a lot of things happen in the movie. I'm trying not to give spoilers, even though it's a 9-year-old movie at this point. No, 8-year-old movie. But like, a lot of things happen, but like there's always love. You know what I mean? And the love looks different, but it's not like I don't know. Like, I think like there's something to be said, like in those scenes of like, if you're secure in yourself, you're able to interact with other people more securely, even when they're not where they need to be. You know what I mean? Like, you're able to like walk on solid ground. You're not like, ah! Maybe you are in the moment. Okay, that was a weird embodiment of that. Maybe you are in the moment, but also it's like, if you know yourself and what you stand for, and you're checking in with yourself and you're doing the things that make you feel alive, like this character is, then you're able to interact with other people from that place of stability, even when things get like weird and shaky. And I think that that's really cool. Okay, cool. Thank you for listening to me talk for 25 minutes about this movie. I thought it was super, super good. I mean, if you've seen it, please let me know what you think. If you haven't seen it yet, definitely check it out. And thank you for hanging out. It's been really fun to talk to you guys and just, yeah, be interacting. Please let me know what you think. And next week we will be doing a wild card. So my 4 categories are movie, TV show, album, and then a wild card. And the last wild card was Levi's interview with Ben Staples. And this one, maybe it'll be a music video. If there's any like cool, weird black music videos that you like, you can let me know that. It could be, I guess it could technically be like a movie, album, or a TV show as well. It could be an interview. It could be like, I don't know. It could be anything. This wild card. So that's what we'll do next. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.